everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel of Mr. Footballer Loons, and today I am doing Game Week 6 predictions of the Premier League. I'm going to be starting off on the 23rd of September. It is at the Etihad. It is Manchester City facing off Nottingham Forest, and Manchester City's last game was against Red Star Belgrade. I'm not going to pronounce their new name. They got a 3-1 win against Red Star Belgrade. They were 1-0 down at half-time, and so they were 1-0 down at half-time against West Ham. But both times, in the second half, they scored 3 goals. And can I say, they have so many shots against Red Star Belgrade. So many. Complete domination. Facing Nottingham Forest. You know, Nottingham Forest got a point just about against Burnley, who've lost all their games. Also, can I say, Nottingham Forest. Hudson-Odoi, in my opinion, was goal of Game Week 6. That's a fantastic by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Fantastic goal. Had a great game. Nottingham Forest, I think, are definitely going to stay up. But facing a Manchester City at home, looking really good. Obviously, Manchester City do have a few injuries, but they're just really good. I think it's that simple. So I'm going 3-1 to Manchester City. Moving on to the next game, it is Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park facing off Fulham. Now, Fulham in their last game, they just about edged a 1-0 win at home against Luton Town. That was a good win, but I felt like they could have dropped points there easily against Luton Town. Luton Town did have a fair of their chances. Yeah, that was a good win. They've had a very mid-table style set of results, but in my opinion, Crystal Palace last game, they lost 3-1 to Aston Villa. They were unlucky. Yes, they didn't have that many shots compared to Aston Villa, but it was 1-1 till, in my opinion, that VAR decision for that penalty was not a penalty with Richards. I don't think that was a penalty. I think he got the ball before he went down. I felt that they were unlucky. I felt like it should have been a draw, but it's been late drama in Game Week 5. But I think they're going to have to bounce back. Obviously, Roy Hodgson was ill there. I assume he's going to be back up against Fulham to manage this game. I feel like Crystal Palace are a better team than Fulham. As simple as that. Fulham have lost Alexander Mitrovic. They still have Pauhina, which is an absolute unit. Passionate for Fulham, 100%. I feel like it's going to be a close game. Crystal Palace, they have some sensational players. Eze and Edouard, 4 goals in 5 games is absolutely fantastic. And they've got home advantage. I'm going to edge Crystal Palace to win it 2-1 against Fulham. Moving on to the next game, it is at Kenworth Road for their second home game of the season. Facing Wolverhampton Wanderers, and this is going to be a crucial relegation battle fight. In my opinion, these two teams are going to be in a kind of relegation battle. At the moment, what I've seen is that Wolverhampton Wanderers have been solid in their games. They've obviously got a win when Luton haven't, and also Wolverhampton Wanderers did play well against Manchester United. Yes, it's not a informed Manchester United when they played them, but they still played well, and they're unlucky not to get a win there. They got a win against Everton. They got a couple of goals against Crystal Palace and really pushed. Obviously, they also 1-0 up at half-time against Liverpool, which ain't bad. And can I say, Neto has to be one of Wolves' best players, 100%. He's got so many assists for them, and he could have had more than an assist in that game against Liverpool if Kuna didn't mess up that shot. So yeah, Neto is a really good asset for Wolves. I feel like Wolves may have the better of the chances in this game. I feel like there will be goals for both clubs, but Luton are also fighting. At Kenworth with that home advantage, like Nottingham Forest last season, that home advantage really came in necessary. I think Luton Town here is going to get their first point because of home advantage, because I think they've been getting better and better in every game. The last couple of games against West Ham United and Fulham, I felt like they kept it much close, and they could have gotten a point in both of those games there. I felt like they were unlucky. They hit the post once against Fulham, so they could have definitely had a point against Fulham. I feel like they are improving, and I feel like if they're going to survive, they're going to have to get points against Wolverhampton Wanderers, which are going to be in that relegation battle. So I'm going down the middle, 1-1. Both clubs need it so much, so I'm going for both clubs to get at least a point. 1-1 draw. Moving on to the next game, it is Brentford at the G-Tech Stadium facing Everton. Now, straight away, Brentford being home, Brentford have played way better football this season than Everton, way better football from last season. Without Ivan Toney, they're still fantastic. Wissa and Brebo. And you know what? It could have gone either way against Newcastle United. They had their fair of chances. They kept it close against Newcastle. They were definitely in that game. And that was only their first loss as against Newcastle United, which finished 4th last season, which I think is pretty good to keep it close. And being at home, they're wanting to get back on winning form. With only 1 win but 3 draws, I could see this being a draw, you know. Everton are desperate for it, and Brentford do draw a lot. But you're going to have to go for Brentford with the home advantage. Much better performance this season. Much better performance than last season, then Everton. So we're going to have to go 2-1 to Brentford. I feel like it'll be close, because Everton did well to hold off against Arsenal. Moving on to the next game, it is Burnley at Turf Moor facing Manchester United. Now this one could be a draw, you know. I was tempted to go for a draw, obviously Manchester United in poor form. But to say positive about Manchester United, Marcus Rashford's really good. Their defence, though, is shambolic. I'm not a fan of Manchester United's defence. It is not good enough. Against Brighton. Brighton absolutely bossed them, passed it around the whole of Manchester United. Nothing really worked for Manchester United. Marcus Rashford had multiple shots, multiple chances. And I feel like there's definitely going to be high scoring because Burnley also aren't fantastic defensively either. They like to play attacking football, Burnley, under Vincent Kompany. Completely different how Sean Dyche used to play it as. But like I said, against Spurs, that defending was terrible. They definitely played better against Nottingham Forest. They may have even deserved 3 points in that one. Facing Manchester United, you know what? Burnley are going to score 2 goals. I'm going to edge Manchester United. Purely because of how big the club has been. And they're going to have to be getting on winning form. You know, Manchester United are going to have to get wins against Burnley. I feel like it'll be close. And I wouldn't be surprised if Burnley win this 2-1 or something like that. Or a draw. But I'm going to go Manchester United because they're probably favourites. Because Manchester United have been a bigger club for multiple years. But I'm going 3-2. It's going to be a tight one. Moving on to the next game, it's actually a whole new day, the 24th of September. On a Sunday, it is Chelsea at Stamford Bridge facing Aston Villa. Now, one thing you can say positive about Chelsea is that they will not be playing European football. So Aston Villa on Thursday are going to be playing a Conference League game when Chelsea aren't. Plus, Chelsea are at home, but Nottingham Forest won against Chelsea away. Which, I mean, Nottingham Forest only got 1 away win last season, and now they just beat Chelsea away. I mean, Chelsea, overall, Raheem Sterling. You know what? Chelsea could have definitely won in their last game against Bournemouth, and that 0-0 result. They could have definitely won. Raheem Sterling hitting the post. Raheem Sterling creating so much. But the one thing that Chelsea are struggling for is goals, obviously. But it's because when Raheem Sterling goes down that right flank, passes it into the box, Nicholas Jackson or anyone isn't positioned in the right area in the box. And that's their problem. You need to be in a right goal-scoring area in the box, in the right place. And when Raheem Sterling puts that pass into the box, no one's in the right position. That's not good enough. They have to sort something out there. But Chelsea had multiple opportunities, multiple big opportunities to score. And yes, I'm not going for a low-scoring result. I'm actually going for a 2-2 result in this. I'm going for a draw. Chelsea are going to have to be getting back on scoring form soon. I feel like they're going to be able to get 2 goals against Aston Villa. I feel like Aston Villa have been a bit leaky in the defence in terms of how many goals they've conceded. But Moussa Diaby, I don't think Chelsea are going to win because of Moussa Diaby, Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey. That attack is fantastic. They score goals, Aston Villa, 100%. Very rare where you see them not to score 0. But Leon Bailey has really started to perform this season. Really performing like he did before he came to Aston Villa. And with Moussa Diaby, the 2 former Bundesliga wingers looking really good. Ollie Watkins being an absolute sensation. And Duran coming on, scoring that worldie of a goal. I think that one could also compete for goal of the week. But I'm still going with Hudson-Odoi's goal. But it's really promising for Aston Villa. But I feel like Chelsea, the amount of chances they have, they're going to have to eventually score a goal or 2. So I'm going to say they're going to score 2 goals. A rare occasion for them, but it has to happen sometime. The amount of chances they create, it's going to be some goals. 2-2 results. Moving on to the next game, it is Arsenal versus Tottenham Hotspur. And this has to be the biggest game of game week 6. Arsenal, which just about won against Everton, 1-0. And Tottenham Hotspur is on fantastic form. So is Arsenal. Both clubs unbeaten. London derby. Huge. Ange Postecoglou is a fantastic manager. We've seen it in the stats. Much more attacking. Way more passing the opposition box. Fantastic. And you know what? Both clubs are doing so well. I feel like Arsenal are probably the favourites because they're at home. Because obviously they have done better last season. On paper, I would say Arsenal does have a slightly better side. But in terms of now, I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for another 2-2 draw. Arsenal, if you look at it, they've kept the results quite close. Where they drew against Fulham, which I would say is that mid-table kind of club. And Fulham had 10 men, obviously. I feel like Fulham can do it. I feel like Tottenham Hotspur definitely can. I feel like it could go either way. So I'm going down the middle. 2-all in this game. Moving on to the next game, it is Liverpool at Anfield facing West Ham United. And well, West Ham United going to Anfield is not going to be an easy game. West Ham were 1-0 up at half-time. Then Manchester City decided to go and win it 3-1. You know what? It was a good diving header by James Ward-Prowse. Good balling as well. Facing away against Liverpool. I think it is going to be tight. But Liverpool, I don't know the exact stat. But so far they're unbeaten in this year. But overall, carrying over from last year, they're unbeaten in around like 15, 16 games, I think it is, in the Premier League. Which is a fantastic stat. So they're not going to lose. They hardly lose at Anfield. And I think they're going to win this 2-1, just about. Could see a draw, but Liverpool are looking so positive at the moment that when they go down, they get straight back up, like they did against Wolves. And they've got the home advantage. I'm going 2-1 Liverpool, and I also think they're going to win the league. So 2-1 Liverpool. Moving on to the next game, it is Brighton and Hove Albion at the Amex Stadium facing AFC Bournemouth. Now, Brighton, I believe last season, correct me if I'm wrong, Brighton never had a time where they won 3 games in a row. There was not once where they had a time where they won 3 games in a row last season in the Premier League. And they've won 2 games in a row. I feel like they're going to break that. I feel like they're going to win 3 games in a row. Bournemouth got a 0-0 draw against Chelsea. They had their fair of chances. But I think Brighton, they outbossed Manchester United. You know, and I think they can play even better than they did against Manchester United. It's fantastic to see. Absolute fluent football. And with the home advantage against Bournemouth, who haven't got a win. I feel like Bournemouth may be fighting. You never know. We could see one of those crazy results. You know, like West Ham winning at 3-1 against Brighton. At the end of last season, there was, you know, Brighton won 3-0 against Arsenal, but then went to lose to Nottingham Forest. So we could maybe see that here. But I'm going to say 3-1 to Brighton. They're the favourites. I feel like Bournemouth are going down, to be honest. And I'm going 3-1 to Brighton. Moving on to the next game, it is Sheffield United at Bramall Lane facing Newcastle United. I feel like the result's going to be close. I mean, every game that Sheffield United play in this season, their first 5 games, it has been tight. They lost 2-1 against Spurs. Late drama. Like those late drama in the Aston Villa Crystal Palace game. Late drama. It's going to be low scoring, especially with Newcastle United. Newcastle United, last game in the Premier League, won at 1-0 against Brentford. Defended really well. Quite a close game. Callum Wilson, great penalty. And then they faced Milan in the Champions League. Sandro Tonali returning to AC Milan. I believe Sandro Tonali possibly picked up an injury. Whether that's a huge one, I'm unsure. But either way, I feel like Newcastle have to get this win, you know. I think Newcastle are a better team than Sheffield United. And I feel like Newcastle, back-to-back clean sheets, are going to get another clean sheet here. Gustavo Hammer is fantastic. He scored 2 great goals for Sheffield United. But I'm going to have to say, on paper, Newcastle look better. Newcastle are going to get a clean sheet. It's going to be close because Sheffield United always keep the results close. And I'm going 1-0 to Newcastle United. Just about. I feel like Newcastle will be dominant in that game, but 1-0 to Newcastle United. The summary of last week and what happened was actually a really good week. 9 points out of 20 points, which is very good overall. I got 3 exact results right, which I think is really good. 9 points out of 20 points is very good, which puts me on 36 points out of 98 points. I'm quite happy with the start I've had. I think it's a much better start than I had last season. And that will be the end of my video now. Hopefully you can like and subscribe. And always remember to turn on notifications to not miss one of my fantastic YouTube videos. I will see you next time. Toodle pip now.